In this video, I'm going to show you some of the easiest ways to optimize your WordPress website for better performance. Let's start off with website hosting. That is the foundation of your website. That is the land of which you build your home on. And sometimes a house is not a home.
And a house is not a home.
Now, when it comes to your website hosting company, I'm going to advise that you use a managed web hosting company, because typically managed web hosting companies are faster and they give you much more dedicated resources to your website that you're not sharing resources with other websites on the same hosting platform. And the reason why I use the word sharing, because typically most of us are on what's called a shared hosting platform. So the first things first, when it comes to speeding up your WordPress website or optimizing performance in general, I would choose a better host.
I choose you. You're my sacrifice.
Yes, it's going to cost some money. However, you'll save a lot more money later. Sometimes not too much later down the road. You'll save a lot more money from all the issues, bugs, and let's just say optimization performance features that you don't have. So you have to make up for it with learning the tool or hiring a developer. Web hosting is it. And these are some of my favorite managed web hosting companies that I use, so I can vouch for them, or my clients use. And I can still vouch for them because I use them too, since my clients use them, right? Righto. So we have Kinsta, we have Insta Live, and we have WP Engine. Number two, when it comes to optimizing your WordPress website, is not using a slow theme. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Some people are still on the whole old school bandwagon, and you got to catch up. You got to catch up with some mustard, and we're going to have to make us a nice little hot dog. I don't know where that was going. I was just going somewhere with it, but you're going to have to get up to speed, okay? Just like I'm going to have to get up to speed with some of these jokes. Stop using a slow theme. Choose a faster theme. I recommend using a theme like Astra or Cadence, or a full site editing theme, FSE for short. Block theme is another term for it. I suggest using one of these type of themes. I'm not saying these are the only themes, but they will make your website so much faster, so much snappier, because they're coded well. They're built well. Speaking of building, like off the building, because some of us be falling off.
I keep on falling.
You got to learn how to build your building more efficiently. And sometimes that means not fancily. I was trying to rhyme with that because I thought fancy was too short. But stop trying to be so fancy. So when you're aiming to be more fancier than you are functional, a lot of times we slow down the website. And I always tell people can't buy what they don't see. And if your website is slow, it don't matter how fancy your website is, because people aren't going to be able to see it. They're not going to have the patience. So stop using third-party page builders if you don't need them. I'm not going to take no shots at no third-party page builders, because there's a necessity for them. And we're going to even start building some templates for specific ones. However, it doesn't mean I won't let people know. In order for you to have the best optimal experience, no matter what page builder you use, you're going to have to do some optimization best practices on top of the best practices. So this is what I'm giving you as the first layer of best practices. It's just not to use a third-party page builder at all if you can avoid it. Use Gutenberg blocks, use the WordPress editor, the native WordPress editor, and use blocks like Spectra or blocks like Cadence blocks. These are really good block-based plugins, and they pair well with their themes, with their corresponding themes, right? Spectra pairs with Astra, and Cadence blocks pairs with Cadence theme. You know, it's like Cadence loves Cadence, like Kanye loves Kanye.
Kanye West, the boy! Alright, how did you write I love Kanye? Okay, come on.
I just thought about what I love.
All right. We went from number 3 to number 4, or number 3, as the little ones say. The next one is going to be use a form of premium caching. Now, this is a controversial one, and that's okay. We gonna be controversial around here sometimes, all right? I'm big on not working harder, but working smarter. Yes, you can use all type of caching plugins, free ones, but I believe that if you really want the easiest way, you're going to pay. Because if not, well, you're going to have to learn today. In the words of Kevin Hart, you're going to learn today.
All right. You're going to learn today.
But if you want the easiest way, you'll have to pay something. The great part about the last couple of recommendations I gave you, they have free versions of them. With WP Rocket, there is no free version. So unfortunately, you're going to have to pay, but it's so cheap, hella cheap, right? Oh my goodness. For one site, it's very cheap in comparison to what you would be paying if you did not use that and the things you'd have to learn when it comes to website caching with WordPress. Number 5, use an image optimization plugin. There are many image optimization plugins out there. One of my favorite ones is Short Pixel. This will save you so much time because images are one of the biggest reasons why websites are slow. The files are just too big. They're not optimized, and they haven't been created in other best file formats for browsers. So I would use a image optimization plugin. Short Pixel has a free version and has a premium version. So this is another one of those situations where you can use the free version and it will get you a good amount of the way. Number 7, using a CDN if applicable. There's not always going to be a reason why you should be using a CDN. CDN stands for Global Delivery Network. And in summary, it's when you want your website to be able to be viewed, to be reached, to be seen easily from other places across the world that aren't close to the web hosting server you set your website on. So if you're living in Chicago and you want to promote or you want to market your website in Taiwan or in England or Nigeria, the list goes on, you want to use a content delivery network. That is one of the best reasons why you want to use a content delivery network. But another reason is for security and for speed optimization, even in a local or a more regional scenario. However, there's not always a reason why you want to use a content delivery network. Sometimes it could do more harm than good if you're not using it correctly. So a CDN, key. These are my 2 favorite ones, tried and true. Bunny, like bunny.
There she goes. She's running up. It looks good. And no, there she goes. And she's taking off with the phone.
And then we got Cloudflare, right? It's 2 of my favorite ones. Stop using so many plugins. Just that simple. Some of you all are using so many plugins. It's ridiculous. You don't need 800 plugins. You don't need 50,000 plugins. You don't need 2 million plugins. Notice how I'm incrementally like getting more dramatic. But you don't need these many plugins. I'm just letting you know. Stop using so many plugins. Use what you need. And from there, if you need a specific, and I'm going to give you a key tip. This is for another video. But if you need a specific function or functionality for something, use a code snippet plugin and use a code snippet. So that way you don't have to have all these plugins bloating down your website, because we get plugin happy, like trigger happy for some of you all out there. We get plugin happy, like candy happy for some of you all out there. We get plugin happy sometimes.
What was that? Major Payne just terminate that Batman with the If he's still in there, he ain't happy.
And we have to chill out. So stop using so many plugins. Use what you need. Let everything else go and use a code snippet to replace that alternative functionality. And that was number 7. Now we have some notable mentions. Now these are more, I would say, advanced techniques, intermediate to advanced techniques. Some of you all watching this may be like, Maestro, no, man, I know how to do that. Well, why didn't you speak on that first? Well, that's the easy one. I would do that first. Listen, if you're watching this video and you've seen the title and the thumbnail, I hope you realize I decided to go the easiest route. And for most people, the easiest route is not going to be understanding all of these other notable mentions. Most people aren't going to understand gzip compression, CSS delivery, reducing response time, right? Your server response time, leveraging browser cache. These are all nerd, geek, tech-based terminologies and jargon words that make a lot of sense when you know them. It took me years to learn what these are, but for you, you can just throw it in ChatGPT and learn it in an amount of minutes. And some of y'all don't even need it, right? But it took me years to learn some of this stuff, and I'm still learning some of this stuff. Like, wait, I thought that was that, but now it's this? Wait, hold on.
Wait a damn minute.
What kind of, and it just does that. But these are things that you really don't have to do until you have done the other 7 things I am advising that you do. And a few other notable mentions: keeping your database clean, lazy loading your images. The good thing about WordPress is now it has that native by default. However, it may not be as good as another plugin that you may use, but just keep in mind, lazy loading images is good. Optimizing your web fonts. And this last one, I'm more on the fence of like, for me not to have it on would be me not doing you justice with the knowledge. But to keep it all the way real, this is the last one on the list because it's not as needed anymore. It's a very special case-by-case scenario. Now, here's the cool thing I'm going to show you. Maybe I should have started this off in the beginning. I don't know. But when it comes to optimizing your performance, you want to test it out in some type of speed testing tool. One of the most popular ones is Page Speed Insights by Google, right? And so I've already created a score here. I'll analyze it again, run the analysis, just to show you that when you implement a lot of those things, you should be getting high scores. Not perfect scores, high scores. Don't chase perfection. You're not going to win most of the time. There are only so many times where you'll have perfect scores or 100s and your website is highly functional. It has everything it needs. It is just working so well, and it's promoting your company. It's helping you make money, business, blah, 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 blah. There's only so many times that's going to happen. Otherwise, most of us are going to be in the 70s and 80s. That's what we should go for. 90s, you're doing great. 70s, 80s, you're doing really good. And that's where we need to be at majority of the time, is really good in order for us to have our website be functional. That's where you want to be. Again, 80s, 70s, 70s, 80s, like that 70s show, that 80s show.
That's crazy. We're totally relaxed. Hey, you know what show I love? The Jeffersons.
Sometimes I got to bring it back. 70s, 80s, 80s, 70s, 90s is way out there, and that is absolutely fabulous. But most people will never get there, okay? And if you get there, your site is probably not highly functional, because with functions and complexity can create issues, can create bottlenecks, makes your site more bloated. And it's just a balance that you have to do. So one of my favorite tools that I use, as I already mentioned, is InstaWP. InstaWP is so fast. And this is more for the staging side of things, but they have Insta Live, which is for the hosting side. See how fast that was? That's how you want it. Shout out to Vicus. So when it comes to your plugins, just go here. And this is for people who are more new to WordPress. You want to go here. Well, technically, you didn't have to go here. You could have just clicked Add New Plugin. It's multiple ways, but I just wanted to show you. And you want to type in, for instance, I'm going to go Image Optimization. Now, I have a beef with WordPress when it comes to this search, right? I love WordPress, but when it comes to this search, it is the worst search I've used. Or maybe I'm just spoiled with Google's search and other people's search methods. But this one, you got to type it in specifically. If you don't, The plugins won't pop up. So you have image here for short pixel. For eel is another big popular one. Smush. That's all you gotta do. Same thing with caching. If you're on a budget, caching. These are really great ones. Lightspeed, W3, very popular. WP Optimize, very popular. SiteGround's caching only works with SiteGround hosting. Now, I left SiteGround off of this list, and I use SiteGround, but they're shared hosting, where they're mainly shared hosting. They have cloud hosting too. Most of us can't afford that. I'm just keeping it real. But if you have SiteGround, definitely use there, because this is the closest to WP Rocket. They really model WP Rocket for good and for bad, right? For both reasons. So you definitely want to use that. Then when it comes to building out your pages, as I mentioned, we can say page building. Now, this is a weird one because sometimes things will come up, sometimes things won't. Page builder. Okay, all right. Well, Cadence came up, Stackable came up. See how like Spectra is not on here? I'll type in page builder. Sometimes it's all about the keywords that they're ranking for. I'm not gonna touch on this one, but this is what I that right there, yo. I don't know.
I ain't never had that ever happen to me. I'm trying to see what that be like right there. Look, be that.
We trying to stick with third-party blackface plugins. Let's see. Gutenberg. This is the one where you want to do Gutenberg. There we go. So when you type in Gutenberg, that's when the third-party blocks come up, okay? They come up. So that's what you want to do. And then for themes, appearance, themes, you want to look for themes here, add new theme. You can go for a block theme. You can go for a classic theme. But these are some fast themes. These are some of the best themes, and they are fast. So I'm just giving y'all an unbiased opinion, even though I'm very bullish about the tools I use, and I'm not ashamed of it. But doesn't mean you have to use it. Just make sure you use something similar or alternative, okay? So boom, bam, bing, papaya. We out of here. All right. So that is it, y'all. That's the thing that I wanted to share with you all. Some of the easiest ways to optimize your WordPress website for better performance. My name is Maestro Stevens with Iconic Templates. And if you got anything valuable out of this video, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any comments or any questions, anything that you want to say, you want to add, anything that you want to brag about, anything that you want to argue about. Well, we don't want to argue around here, but something that you want to give a different perspective, throw it in the comments, throw it in the bag, and we are peace.